Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another deck profile. In today's video, I want to share with you guys my updated 4-set 12 red Gogeta Br deck profile. Now, this is kind of funny because me and this leader have kind of like a complicated history. I did a video back in the set 11 days, the early set 11 days, where I talked about why Gogeta was very, very lackluster. I think it topped maybe 2 events in all of set 11, and then it really did nothing else. The Gogeta engine did see some success in Bulma, but again, that was also a little bit rare to see. And a lot of people were hyping this deck up. It was a really cool deck, but there were a lot of reasons why it wasn't very good. And we're going to talk about that in today's video and how those things have gotten fixed. So if you're new here, definitely subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss a video. If you want to help the channel out today, you can go down in the description. There are many links there that will help, but you guys can check out the TCG player link where you can buy or pre-order any cards you need for this deck. It really does help out a lot. That being said, we will jump right in. So this leader, truth be told, I'm still not in love with it. I still really wish I didn't have to play this leader, but it's a lot better than it used to be, and I'll explain why. So the number one reason I don't like it is because you have to look at top 7 and add a red extra card with an energy cost of 1. If they made this any cost or maybe like 1 or less, it would actually be so much better. The self-awaken is kind of nice so you don't get like stalled out against certain matchups, but the main thing here is when you activate Union, you draw, and this deck takes a lot of advantage of that. You just draw a crazy amount of cards in this deck. It's honestly so much better than it was. Awaken on tap 2, that is another great thing the leader has going for it. And the backside of this leader, it's actually really, really good. So it's just base double strike. When it attacks, draw 1, gain 5k, so that's good. And you keep the ability to draw when you fuse. So that's really solid. I really wish this leader had the front side of the set 6 Goku and Vegeta leader. But anyways, I digress. Let's check out the extra cards you can search with your leader. There are 10 of them that we're playing. It is a low number. You really only want to be on your front side for 3 turns maximum. Once you get to turn 3, you do want to flip. So if you go first, you're realistically only going to do like 2 top 7 searches, so you should hit on both of them. For Birth the Super Warrior, this is one of the upsides to playing this leader. You basically get to play a quote-unquote pot of greed. So this one drop lets you add the vanilla Goku and Vegeta from either your deck or your drop area for a really hard plus. That is definitely solid. 3 Wolfang Fist, it's free with your Unison. A lot of red decks are playing this card, especially more mid-rangey ones, but even decks like Red Broly side it, because once you have a Unison in play, having the free ability to minus 15 something oftentimes is very solid. You don't even always kill something with it, but just being able to stop an attack or deter your opponent from attacking for 0 energy is really solid. Violent Rays, it's super good in the meta right now. I mean, we have Dark Broly, we have Red Broly, just to name 2 of the more powerful decks that swing with big battle cards. But there's also like Green Gotenks, Smaj, and Vegeta. Violent Rays is a super solid card. And then 1 Frieza Death Ball. This could be a 3rd Violent Rays, it could be a 4th Wolfang Fist, but I like the 1 Frieza Death Ball. Now, you don't have like a huge abundance of energy in this deck, I will say that, so that's why we're only playing the 1 copy, but it is really sneaky both in going for game when your opponent's like underestimating your combo power, but also in defending. For a 1 energy 25k combo, it's definitely really solid. I do like the 1 copy, so I'm playing it. Anyways, moving along, this is our Goku and Vegeta lineup. So we're playing 3-3 skillless. With 4 Birth the Super Warrior, this ratio is totally fine. I did try 2-2 for a while. Didn't really like it too much, because the thing with Birth is that you can't mix and match, like picking one up out of your drop, picking one out of your deck. So you do need to have both of them in the same location to use Birth. So I like the 3-3 split. They're usually in my deck when I need to pull them out. And then we're playing 2 Goku Godly Aura and 2 Godly Aura Vegeta. So basically I wanted to play 5 fusion targets, right? You know, the 3 of which are searchable via Birth. The other 2 you kind of have to hard draw. Godly Aura Vegeta is actually super solid. So when you fuse with it, you get to look at top 7, add a Gogeta Br, then if you add a card, you discard a card. So you're evening out an advantage there, but you really need to see your Gogetas by turn 3. So Godly Aura is really solid. Godly Aura Goku it's okay. If you really need to get awakened by turn 3, he is there to do that. The autos of these guys, when you play them, you're generally never gonna use them. You just really don't ever need to. You're not gonna pay 2 to cast a 10k battle card. It's just mostly the autos when they're fused away. They're pretty good. If you don't have Godly Aura Goku, you can definitely play the old 1-drop Goku Br that looks at the top 3. I believe it adds a Vegeta or a Veku. That's a fine replacement for Godly Aura if Godly Aura is a little bit out of your price range, but Vegeta Godly Aura, I would say you probably need 2. It is a really solid card in this deck for finding your Gogetas. Next up, guys, this card right here, this Unison, is the #1 reason why I'm so excited about Gogeta Br right now. it's still like a relatively linear strategy, but this card and another card we'll talk about have just like breathed such a fresh air of life into this deck. It's so cool. So Piccolo Jr. Descendant of the King is a 2-drop red 15k unison. It's got tons of great effects. Auto, when your opponent activates a counter skill, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with 15,000 power or less and KO it. So one of the peskiest counterplays in the game right now, freeze a charismatic villain. They do that, you KO something. There's just so many good scenarios where this is just literal free value. Even if they activate Godsling Trunks, if they have like an Obuni token on their board or some little battle card, you just snipe it. It's free value there. The best thing about this card though, +1, draw 1 card. We know how powerful this was with the Baby Unknown Parasite Unison. This deck did have an inherent unison that did a similar thing, the Gotenks Unison from set 11, but it was a +0. Like, man, you had to get him on board and then play your Gogeta Fusion of the Gods directly after that to give him more markers. Otherwise, he was never going to survive. And that build was really just more so like a straight up aggro build. Like, you would go like turn 2 or 3 Unison and then turn 3 Gogeta Fusion, and you would try and go for like a bunch of double strikes via your leader, your unison, and your battle cards. But that strategy was extra linear, just really rolled over to pretty much all floodgates. This build is so much better as a mid-range deck. I really like it, and Piccolo offers you so much draw. And then you have the -2, which allows you to rejuvenate, also gives you another access to a board wipe. But the rejuvenate in this deck, actually in testing, not every deck that has access to rejuvenate, I find at least, will rejuvenate very often. They don't all rejuvenate super often, but this deck and King Piccolo, namely with this Piccolo Jr. Unison, have been rejuvenating quite a bit, and it feels really solid. Again, it lets you play more of that mid-rangey game, lets you extend the game. It's just super solid. And of course, we're playing 4 of our Gogetas. You boost Piccolo full of markers, makes rejuvenate a lot easier. And then Gogeta, a Technique Unchained, is one of your main forms of interruption, both when you attack to remove stuff, and if your opponent attacks, you can kill things or like reduce their leader to make the damage 0, stuff like that. Super good engine here. You always want to go for this on turn 3. Next up, guys, we have some of our free fusions. So we have Veku Contents Under Pressure at 2, and Gogeta Time for Payback at 3. So Veku is a more recent addition for me. He is really good turns like 1 and 2 for some free pressure. He's also able to swing at pesky battle cards your opponent has, like random 1-drops or 1-drops with barrier. He's also actually really good against Sin Shenron, where you can swing at their negative energy Dragon Balls. They're not affected by battle card skills, but if you attack into them, they just die. So that is really good there. He pops himself to get you back your fusion materials. You really got to be careful, because you can't play this guy if your opponent has a counterplay showing, because if they counterplay your Veku, yes, you draw off your leader, but you pitch 2 to play him. So while you're drawing 1, you're losing 3 cards if they counterplay as Veku. So you do want to be very careful about that. Gogeta Time for Payback, though, he's excellent. So he's a free fusion. He draws a card when you fuse, and your leader will draw. So that replaces the Goku and the Vegeta that you used. This guy was such a good card for this deck that they made in the form of a promo, and thank goodness it's not like super expensive to get, because he serves a lot of purposes. 1, free defense, obviously, because he's a free blocker. 2, he allows you to play the game or continue to play the game if your Gogeta gets answered, because one of the main problems with the Gogeta, at least last format, was blue, black, and even green. If they're attacking max power Kamehameha, they removed your Gogeta super easily, and you really had no way to recover from that. This card's amazing for recovery because he allows you to, on turn 4, pay 3, get back into a Gogeta. You can also play any of the Gogetas you see here, Gogeta Fusion Onslaught or Critical Combination, kind of just depending, what you need in a given scenario. But the other thing about Payback is he lets you play around counterplays, which is just incredible. Like, you activate his ability, you pay 3, your opponent can Trunks, and then you can just go into your Gogeta 5-drop that has the flex, and then go into your 6-drop. If they don't activate Trunks, or if they, if you're playing against green, where Charismatic Villain doesn't really do anything against these 8-drops, you play the 8-drops. Like, the options he gives you is just so solid, so strong. It's a great card for the deck. Moving along, we have our 1 Broly SCR. So this guy is normally coming out on turn 4, either if your 6-drop survives, or you get to use Payback to get into one of your 8-drops on turn 4. That's the majority of how Great Destroyer comes out. And again, amazing for a mid-range deck. As aggressive as the Secret Rare can be, he actually, boosts you up by 10k for 2 turns, kind of like that Surge Goku effect. So it allows you to play a much more longer game, really solid. Strategy View 7 is definitely a staple in this deck at this point, even if, like, I don't know, even if blue and black weren't super popular, which they relatively are, especially black right now with warp removal, you still want to play strategies because it protects your main chain. So as long as that guy stays alive, you should accrue a lot of value over the course of the game, where you kind of just, you know, run your opponent out of resources, put too many big attacks on them, and over the course of a few turns, they just you know, die, they roll over, right? The main problem is your leader can't grab this card off top 7. It does kind of suck. That would be a really cool way they would be able to boost this leader's power if it just had, you know, extra card of 1 cost or less. That would be super good, but leader doesn't do that, unfortunately. Raditz Sand Youth, I was messing around with a 2-2 split of the Krillin super combo, the one that works with Rejuvenate Unisons, and a 2 split of Raditz Sand Youth. I've ended up going with just 4 Raditz. Like I said, this deck draws so much, especially in the early turns via fusing, via your Unison, that you don't really need the Krillin super combo, because you can get another copy of Piccolo relatively easily, put it under your established Piccolo, and you can rejuvenate that way. I've just found that Raditz has been working out so much better. He can put your 8 drops back to the bottom of your deck, so you can get max value off of your Gogeta payback. Yeah, Krillin, it's a cool super combo, but I don't like its reliance on having the Unison in play, and obviously, you know, drawing 2 cards, seeing 2 new cards is excellent. So this is working out quite good for me, but I don't blame anyone who wants to play a 2-2 split or a 3-1 split, however you want to do it. And the final cards, guys, we're playing 4 Topo Regis Aid. I wouldn't say you need to play 4 if this format wasn't so aggressive, but especially against Red Broly and even Dark Broly to an extent, like, you just need this card. It is going to be your turn 2 play a lot of the times if you're not going for your Piccolo Unison, or you go turn 3, you play your Gogeta Fusion stuff after playing your Piccolo the previous turn, Awaken, you have 2 available energy for Topo. That is a really solid setup. And then we're playing the 1 Bardock fighting against Fates. This could be so many cards. You could honestly cut it if you wanted to. This is a 52 card list, and I wouldn't even mind playing 51 just to make sure your turn 3 is as consistent as possible, but I've generally liked playing 52. This could be this could be Piccolo New Ruler, this could be Man on a Mission. Me and my team, we really just liked SS4 Bardock. It's been testing very well. But anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I'm a lot more excited about Gogeta Br than I was last set. I pretty much explained all the reasons why in this video, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.